What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about DigiByte. DigiByte has a lot of work to do fundamentally to really sort of get to the level I think it should be at. But there is a couple things that really go for it in terms of like real positives. One is the charts, um, but they're short in a few areas. So I want to talk about where they're short and what they need to do to hit the price point that I'm talking about in this video. Also, we're going to take a look at what's happening with the USDC. Obviously, that did pegged and did die. Um, so that has wider ramifications for the markets. We're going to talk about what's probable and in this video regarding USDC. Before I get into that, though, guys, if you're new to this channel, these are the first 26 coins I spoke about on this channel. These are the prices they were when I was talking about them. These are the current prices. If you'd put $100 into each of these coins and you were still holding them, firstly, why the hell would you still be holding them? We had a bull cycle. That's when they're sold. But if you were going to sell them today, that $2,600 investment would get you a profit of over 12 grand, which is not bad if you've done everything wrong. Now, these coins, like with every investment, they should be sold when the markets are rocketing up. I sold these off in 2021, so did followers, so did friends. And if you'd have sold these off in 2021 when the markets were just rocketing up, a $2,600 investment, $100 into each, would have netted you a profit of over 123 grand. So there's a massive difference between doing the right thing and the wrong thing. Now, as I said, I sold them off, so they're not what I own. But if you want to see the coins I own, you can go to copymycrypto.com. On that site, I share my entire portfolio. I share all these coins that I'm invested in are all my long-term investments in the crypto space, the ones I think are going to be the big winners, like I said, with Phantom and all of these. So if you're looking to make these kind of profits, if you're looking to take the work out of your crypto investing, then this is a site for you. All you have to do is see what I'm holding, and if you want to copy along, you can. I break down every coin that I own, I break down the gains I think they can have, and I break down the percentage of my investments into them. And if you've got $1,000 and you want to copy along, you can. We also on the site release videos every day talking about the markets. We also have a ton of tutorials set up. If you're a crypto beginner, these are perfect. These are steps A to Z, how to get started in crypto. But go read the site. Remember that everything you read, you can verify on this channel's history. And if you like it, maybe I'll see you there. And if you don't buy it. All right, DigiByte. So DigiByte is priced at 0.8 of a cent. Market cap is 140 million. This is, based on it was originally built based upon Bitcoin's blockchain and its proof of work algorithm. They then added 4 different algorithms on top of that for how to mine it. So it's insanely secure. They run off of 1,000 times the amount of Bitcoin. So 21 billion, sorry, will be released in DigiByte. Now, in terms of what's going for it, look, its long-term charts look fantastic. It's in a long-term uptrend. First bull cycle that it experienced, it ran all the way up to 11 cents. This previous bull cycle that it had, it ran up to 16 cents. It's in a long-term uptrend. That bodes really, really well. On top of the fact as well, like I said, they use 5 different algorithms to improve security. And they originally aimed to improve on Bitcoin's blockchain security, capacity, and transaction speed. And they are rapid, for sure. And the creator, Jared Tate, also known as Digiman, oversaw its metamorphosis from development to its current setup. And then he left, and then he returned. And he authored the first book written by a blockchain founder, which was Blockchain 2035, The Digital DNA of Internet 3.0. Now, DigiByte's operations depend not only on developers, but also the DigiByte Foundation, a volunteer organization tasked with overseeing preservation of the project. And a third group of volunteers, the DigiByte Awareness Team, is responsible for marketing and promotional activities. Now, In terms of Digi assets, they have, well, in terms of the DigiByte ecosystem, I personally feel it's lacking. I want to show the hash rates info. At the moment, they're on global hash rate of 66.33. Now, their actual hash rate hasn't really changed. You know, bear in mind that we had the halving, sorry, not halving, the move to proof of stake for Ethereum. And a lot of projects experienced real significant growth in September in terms of mining statistics, in terms of global hash rates started flying up. That didn't happen at all for DigiByte, like at all. You know, it was hovering around 100, um, and the move when Bitcoin finally did when Ethereum finally did its merge, it really didn't experience any significant uptake, and actually it's down. So miners have left, which for me is a bad sign. You know, you want to see miners follow the money. So if miners are leaving, that means miners don't believe there are better opportunities out there. So for me, that's a real big negative. Another negative for DigiByte is just its small ecosystem. You know, they've not got anything really for DeFi at all. Um, they do have faucets, so if you're interested in sort of earning DigiByte without buying it, you know, you can use DigiFaucet, freebitcoins.com, or Faucet Crypto, um, and you can go there and just claim free DigiByte to try and grow your holdings. So that's not a nice feature. You know, that used to be a really good feature back in the day. You could, well, like the faucets for Bitcoin used to, like really early on in Bitcoin, you could get half a Bitcoin every time you claimed. Now you'd be lucky if you get, you know, like one Satoshi to be honest. But okay, DigiByte. But yeah, you can grab some faucet. You can use the faucets. You can build your DigiByte holdings up without actually having to buy any, which is a nice feature. And right now, obviously, its price point's very low. Um, they also are integrated with payment processors. Um, Now, again, none of these are particularly impressive. You know, none of them are ones where I'm like excited about, particularly when you look at who they're integrated with and then the places that they can be used to buy things. You know, none of these are exciting uh, sites, none of these are exciting products, and none of these are really going to bring growth to DigiByte. You know, if they landed an integration with, you know, like a company like Amazon, obviously that's it, like the top tier, the top of the top tier, but that would do huge things, right? But even just scaling down, you know, if you could get a significant car manufacturer that would take DigiByte payments, if you could get, uh, you know, even just like a streaming platform that would accept it, something, you know, because none of these right now, you know, release excitement at all for DigiByte. And this is, I feel, where they're falling down, is they have been up and running for a long time, and they've not really had that growth. Digi assets are the nice feature that they've started integrating, which is um, the decentralized issuance of digital assets, tokens, smart contracts, digital identity, and more. So they are starting to look at this um, in greater depth. They've also got the Digi ID. Now, the Digi ID, not a huge fan of decentralized identity as a concept. I don't really like it, but I know it's inevitable. So if DigiByte could land their Digi ID tech to be utilized on, say, the big exchanges, that would really benefit. Even, or even again, if it's utilizing the Digi ID for some key websites that are heavily used, again, that would be a real positive for DigiByte. But the Digi assets, right now is probably the best thing going for it. And when we take a look at what the Digi assets are about and where they are, you can see that. To be fair, I quite like DigiByte's wiki. At least it's comprehensive. That's actually uh, a big positive. And they show you where you can go to buy stuff. So like this is DigiByte Broker, which is a platform that allows you to buy Digi assets. So you can then see some of the assets on offer. Got Digi Doge, Minions, Despicable Me token, friendship tokens. But again, this is not uh, readily used very often at all. Just based on networks like statistics. Again, that for me is a big negative. Like you've got to start drawing people in, and I think fundamentally what they have to do is get some long-term marketing plans in place that are really gonna draw in developers. At the moment, they're lacking in development for sure. They need to start offering and publicizing massive grants that draw in some developers. Um, and utilize the DigiByte Foundation to really push um, that growth. I like this as a project. I like the fact that it's in a long-term uptrend. That's massive. That's huge. It's also one of the oldest projects, so it's not going to die. It's not going to go anywhere, um, and it is insanely safe because of their sort of 5 different algorithms that are required to mine it. The networks is about as secure as it's ever going to be. But I just think they've stagnated in terms of growth, where we've seen over the past couple of years, like some layer ones come out that have just done insanely well in terms of growth. You've got this 100, 200 odd projects built upon. DigiByte just haven't really grown in that regard. So they've got to now keep pushing. My long term perspective, honestly, is still that it goes up because the long term up is in a long term uptrend. You know, when we look at projects that had a real good peak in 2018 and then didn't beat that in 2021, it makes me think they're probably not going to again for a lot of them. DigiByte's in a long-term uptrend, which is huge, but in terms of how it's going to achieve growth and how it could get to 20 cents, which should be very achievable given its uptrend, they need more marketing. They need more developers coming in. They need to grow the ecosystem. I really wouldn't worry about it as a payment solution. I've said this multiple times on this channel. Look, businesses, enterprises are not going to accept a fluctuating asset as a payment solution. They're just not. Yes, when the digital dollar comes in, when CBDC comes in, for sure, crypto all of a sudden um, companies will take that, and many companies will probably be okay taking a stable coin now, but obviously we've seen what happened with USDC recently, um, and businesses can't have fluctuating assets like holdings in something that fluctuates. So I really wouldn't be pushing this unless they're going to really, unless they can create a digital dollar, unless they can create a stable coin that is not going to have a problem passing regulation, which at this point seems highly improbable given the FUD around stable coins. So I'd be focused on marketing, I'd be focused on getting developers in, I'd be focused on trying to grow this as a DeFi solution because it is fast and it is so secure. Like if you can have projects built upon this purely focused on DeFi, you can grow to a really massive DeFi ecosystem. And then with the security of the chain, um, less risk for hacks, less risk for exploits as long as the development's done well, this can grow organically. And then maybe it can naturally exceed its previous highs just from the growth and from the successful marketing. But they've got a lot of work to do. I still think it can hit 20 cents just based on its long-term uptrend. But I think they can do a lot more if they really, really, really focus on the development of an area that everyone gets excited about. DeFi is that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you like DigiByte? Does it concern you that the miners have left? Like miners have left comparatively to gained since the merge? because that's not commonplace. Let me know in the comments down below. And before I get into the USDC news, if you guys want to see the coins I own, head over to copymycrypto.com. It's where I share my entire portfolio. I break down every coin that I own. I talk about what gains I think they can have, what percentage of my money I'm putting in, and if people want to copy, they can. If it sounds good to you finding the winners without doing 5,000, 10,000 hours of research, then this is a site that you want to check out. And if after checking it out you don't like it, obviously you don't have to buy it. But if after checking it out you go, oh, I want to verify some of this, you can do that on this channel's history. Remember that we do release videos every day talking about markets. If you like to learn about the markets in the short term, that's exactly what you want. If you are a crypto beginner and you don't even know where to get started, our tutorials are there in place and they're exactly what you need to get started. And fundamentally, guys, if you want to make these profits, then this is a site you want to check out. No one in 2020 was talking about Phantom at all, other than myself. And when I find another Phantom, I will do exactly what I do with all my other coins, which is go, this is the coin, these are the gains I think it can have, and this is the money I'm putting in. And again, if you want to find the next big winner without doing 5,000, 10,000 hours of research, go read the site now. The last thing, right, USDC. So there's been a lot of issues over the past 2 days with USDC and really tanked. It dropped to like 89 cents at one point. And basically, Silicon Valley Bank dissolved as effectively. So Circle's Internet Financial said Saturday it will cover any shortfall in the assets backing its stablecoin USDC in the event it does not receive the entirety of a 3.3 billion cash reserve that it was holding at Silicon Valley Bank. Now, worth noting, they had prior to that 40 billion in assets. So losing 3.3 billion potentially is about 8.25%. Well, it is 8.25% of the 40 billion, which is effectively what we saw USDC struggling at. Like it dropped about 8.25%, well, it dropped 11% at one point, and then it held steady at 8.25% for a very, very long time. It's currently hovering around 95 cents now, so it's still down. Now, Circle, said they'll stand behind USDC and cover any shortfall using corporate resources involving external capital if necessary. The pledge came as crypto traders fretted over the value of USDC. And we saw a huge sell-offs, like people were selling off their USDC holdings at losses because they didn't believe that it could rally. Now, Circle said it attempted to move its assets out before Silicon Valley Bank's collapse, and that the transaction could settle on Monday when US banks resume normal operations. However, it is also possible that SVB may not return 100%, and that any return might take some time as the FDIC issues IOUs, as in receivership certificates, and advance dividends to deposit holders. So the question, I suppose, is it going to recover? I firmly believe it is. This isn't a case of what we saw with UST. It's not an algorithmic stable coin. It's not it's a coin that was backed by the assets that they held. Granted, the bank that held 8.25% of that has collapsed, but this is a USDC is backed by Circle, is backed by BlackRock. Of course, they're going to end up recovering assets because fundamentally they've got the money behind them. BlackRock's like $1 trillion company. So I do think the probability is pretty high that they're going to fill that gap and they're going to come and they're going to get the assets back. I mean, the alternative, I suppose, is if they were struggling and they wanted to make sure that their assets are backed one-to-one, they could always try work on a burn and slowly but surely burn off 8.25% of the circulating USDC. And that probably will be quite tricky, given that particular holdings are in your biggest exchanges like Binance's. And that is an alternative approach. I think that would, in terms of logistics of that, I think it would be frigging nightmare, but that is always an option. And it's a conversation that can be had with, and probably might have to be had with a ton of the exchanges that issue that have USDC in their holdings. But realistically, with the financial backing of BlackRock, they're probably just going to buy up assets, or they can buy up 3.3 billions worth of dollars and just wang it into a new bank. So the probability is pretty high that they're going to cover all the shortfall. But it's a series of FUD that we're getting in this market, and we've seen a Silicon Bank Valley collapse. We've seen the issue with Silvergate recently. We've seen JP Morgan. I spoke about that being possibly the first of a tumbling block for crypto. We'll see. But I've said this a ton of times. I don't think the low is in on the market yet, and I think we're in a news-driven bear cycle. I don't think it's going to take much for a black swan event again. So just bear that in mind, folks. And yeah, let's see how this plays out. Anyway, take care. Bye bye.